Professor David Lindenmayer has been studying Australia's forests for more than 40 years. Across that time, he's maintained some of the largest long-term research projects in the country.
We can actually see the structure of the forest changing. The big old trees are being lost and they're not replaced, and they're keystone structures for a whole range of species. But as the forest is changing with more and more fire in it, it's actually becoming more and more flammable, but the forest itself is also becoming warmer and warmer.
One of the impacts of logging has been the removal of mature trees and moisture-holding ferns. The younger trees that grow in their place are more vulnerable to severe burning. Hardly ideal at a time when climate change is making bushfire conditions more frequent and severe. Logging is now being phased out in many parts of the country, but it could take decades for trees to mature again. In the meantime, we not only have an increased fire risk, but a lack of quality homes for species such as the greater glider.
So we're going to need to find surrogate hollows for some of these species to be able to help them make it through the next 40 or 50, 60 years.
Professor Lindenmayer is an advocate for a national reconstruction effort, not of roads or buildings, but of forests. He thinks that effort should also extend to improving biodiversity on farms. More than 12 billion trees have been removed in the Murray-Darling Basin alone.
And so there's an enormous restoration challenge to start to think about how we put back vegetation, not like it was in 1788, that's impossible, but to at least reconstruct the condition of some of those natural assets to bring them back as part of a healthy, productive farming ecosystem.
Something that would help farms cope with an increasingly extreme climate. Professor Lindenmayer points to farm dams as an easy target for restoration. There are more than 1.7 million of them in Australia.
The vast majority of them are in very poor condition. A farm dam that is in poor condition generates a very large amount of carbon emissions.
That's because mixing farm waste with water creates both nitrous oxide and methane.
When you start to manage those dams by creating fenced areas, you do replanting, you can shift a farm dam from being a carbon source to a carbon sink.
Improving the quality of water also helps livestock put on weight and generates a biodiversity dividend through an increased number of frogs and birds. It's this type of research that has seen Professor Lindenmayer become one of the most cited ecologists in the world. His publications these days don't just include science journals.
So this is about summarising the last 40 years of work in the Central Highlands wet forests of Victoria, and really trying to create some interest and some passion around some remarkable forests that are really only known by a very small number of people, yet they're only an hour and a half drive from the MCG.
His passion for nature has underpinned a career dedicated to understanding it. A career now recognised with the prestigious Macfarlane Burnet Medal from the Australian Academy of Science.